All right, so for this one, we're going to hit every single one of our pentatonic positions. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with some bends, and what's fun about these bends is you're going to bend up the note on one string and come down with the bend on the other. A little bit tricky, but it's awesome when you get it down. So what happens is you're going to go in the position 1, and the first two we're going to bend is going to be the E and the B. Okay, so what we're going to do, and the benefit of that is the intervals are the same on those two strings, whereas on the B and the G, we're going to have to compensate because the scale position is different. So what we're going to do is bend up 10th fret E, and you're going to come down with the B string 10th fret. So it's basically going to be bending up on the high E 10th fret and a reverse bend on the 10th fret B string. So what happens is when you bend up E, the strings naturally are going to scrunch together. And what you basically do is you just roll your finger over and come down on the string above the one you started on. So the riff is going to go on the 10th fret high E, bend it up, come down on the B string, reverse bend, and then I'm going to go to the 7th fret B, and then I'm going to go 10 to 7 with a pull off, up to the G string, and then I'm going to go back to the 7th fret B before I bend the B string 10th fret again. So we got... Now the next set of strings and the next riff is identical to the one we just did, but you have to compensate again for the interval shift. Okay, so we're going to start on the B string 10th fret this time, bend that up a whole step and come down on the 9th fret G. Now it's not that hard because naturally when you're bending, I use my pinky and my third finger, but a lot of people will probably be using their third finger and their second. It's not going to matter because when you bend, your finger, basically each finger is in a fret anyway, so they're kind of where they need to be. We come down on the G. Now one thing I also will recommend is that you really mute with this hand the strings right above the ones you're bending, because oftentimes when we're doing these riffs where we're scrunching strings together and coming down, sometimes it's easy to actually grab the one above the one we're trying to get. And when you come down, the note will be pulled off on a string you don't want to be pulled off, and it'll be to an open string. So sometimes that sounds kind of like a train wreck. So watch it with this hand as well. So we got... Where we're going to change it is when we get to this note, and I'm going to jump up to the 11th fret to do a step and a half bend. Okay, so we're getting the 11th fret to sound like the 14th fret. Now what I'm going to do is, this is where all the different positions come into play. First I'm going to chromatically walk down from position 2 in minor pentatonic. Okay, so I've gone 11, 10, 9, now we're back into position 1, and then I go to the 7th fret, so. Now what I do next is I borrow a note from the minor scale. I hammer on and pull off from 7 to 9, back to 7, then I slide down to 6. Okay, so we got... Okay, now once I get down to 6, I'm going to pull off 7 to 6, slide to 4. Okay, so we got... Okay, which takes us into our 4th position. So what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to go to the 4th fret D and slide on the G string 2 to 4. So we got. Okay, now we're going to be in position 4, where I'm going to do this riff. So we're going to take the B string, 3rd fret, and kind of, you know, show who's boss a little bit, where you're starting to bend, but you don't actually get anywhere. But by the time the beat comes around that you want to catch the next note on, you're kind of bending into that note, not ever really getting to a specific tone, whether it's a half step or a whole step. You're just kind of bending. Okay, now we're going to continue down the scale, and we're going to go 4 to 2 on the G. Okay, so we went. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go D string 4th fret, where we're going to slide into the 3rd position, which in this case is cool because we have open strings. So I'm going to slide 4 to 2, pull off to open, and then I'm going to go 2 to open again on the D. So we got. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the A string. Same thing on the E string. And now I'm going to go open A to 2nd fret. Or the B note, which is where our key center is. So we got. Okay, so the whole thing all together. All right, let's check out that last example a couple times with the backing track. Here we go. One more time. So again, that encompasses every single position of a pentatonic scale. And the riffs don't have to be difficult, and it's fun, and it gives the listener and the ear a lot to grab onto. Even though a lot of the licks are, you know, maybe the same sequence, just on different strings, or the same notes played in a different position, but it's still exciting and new because you're going from one spot of the neck, maybe a higher set of strings or tones, down to a lower, and finishing off with a really strong low note and resolving to the root note, right? Plus it's fun just to be able to pull off to open strings and, you know, just have some fun. You can right? It just sounds mean and nasty down there at that point. So check that out. Have fun with those riffs. Don't forget to, you know, get out of position 1 and position 2. Get all over the neck and have some fun.